everybody, thank you for pressing play. Welcome to my channel, Life of Liz, and today I will be doing a book talk review about a novel that I read a few months ago for one of my classes, and that is The Book of the Unnamed Midwife by Meg Elison. So I don't have a physical copy of the book, but I do have the Kindle version, and this is what the cover looks like here. So I read this one for my creative writing class a few months ago, and I really enjoyed it, and I feel like other people should read this book because it is something that I haven't really heard of. It's different, definitely a breath of fresh air for science fiction if you're into that kind of genre. So let me tell you a little bit about the book so maybe you will be intrigued to go and pick it up. So this is an adult apocalyptic novel. It takes place in technically the modern times, but it's after, world has gone to shit a little bit. So our protagonist doesn't necessarily have a name. She keeps changing her identity throughout the novel, really. So I'm just gonna refer to her as the midwife. So the midwife is a nurse, and she works in the delivery ward of a hospital. And one day there's a mysterious virus or disease that starts spreading through the United States and eventually through the world. And this disease affects everybody, but it seems to target more women, children, and unborn fetuses. So the mortality rate for them is extremely higher than for men. Men tend to kind of survive it or, come out of it, alive. So very quickly, all of the women that are pregnant that are giving birth start to have their babies, and a lot of the time they're being born dead or they die soon after birth. So after about a week of this disease spreading, there are no more children being born, and the mortality rate has raised up to 100%. And then all of the women that were supposed to be giving birth start dying off as well. So it's just women are dying left and right, children are dying left and right, and the world is just kind of slowly de-escalating from what we know of today. So our protagonist, the midwife, contracts this disease and she falls asleep, and they kind of leave her there because there's so much death going on. And about a month, I think it's a month or a little bit more, she wakes up to find the hospital that she's in completely deserted and everybody is dead. There's not a soul around. So not knowing what's going on, very dehydrated, very malnourished from a month of not being awake, she returns to her room and she finds out what happened through this entire novel. From beginning to end, she discovers what went down through the rest of the country and kind of what life is for women now. So, because of just the large amount of death that happened, the female population is basically extinct. For every one woman, there's about 15 to 20 men alive. So women are really a commodity and they're treated as property. They have lost all human value, and they are just there for the men's pleasure because they can no longer reproduce and can no longer have children. So it's her journey with trying to figure out how she fits into this new world. It deals a lot with a lot of feminist issues, social issues, and gender identity issues because she does have to change her identity to be able to survive in this world. She is a canonly bi character, and we see that throughout the novel. There is, I guess I should say, trigger warning, there is a lot of sexual assault scenes and sexual scenes that are kind of graphic and kind of violent in the story because of the kind of story that it is. It capitalizes on a lot of her identity because she never really tells you who she is. She gives you bits and pieces of her life, but she never really tells you her name and her backstory. So this is, her journey, just basically just trying to survive as a woman posing as a man in a world that does not exist anymore. It is in third person, so we're mainly in the midwife's head, but there are occasions, because it is written in a diary form, that we get insight in a couple of other female characters and a few male characters, I believe, and we get to see how everything went down through their perspective and how everything has changed for them as well. So women are treated as property. They are kept chained up, and their whole purpose is to serve the sexual pleasure of whoever their captors are. There's a few women who kind of capitalize on the fact that they are a commodity, and they're called, and they live in like hives. We see examples of them, but they're not, introduced entirely. So basically, these women are just one woman and all of their little men, and how they survived, this um, disaster, really. Again, like she has to become a man, and I think that was very interesting to me. Like you don't see um, how hard life is for women. Like she has to deal with, being on her menstrual cycle and having to use birth control and having to really find all of these things in a world where really the most important thing should be is finding something to eat, somewhere to sleep, and clean water. And we follow her. She starts off in San Francisco. I think she ends up in Georgia. So she kind of travels across the country. She meets a lot of interesting people, and we get to see their backstories. I very much enjoyed it. Um, I really feel like a lot of people should pick this up. It doesn't get a lot of attention because it was published through an indie company, and she was a first-time author. She is planning to write, or she is writing, I should say, a sequel to this novel right now. She is maybe in the works, I heard, don't quote me, to make a movie about the book. Definitely would want to see that on the big screen. So definitely suggest checking this out. Tell me what you think. Again, Meg Elison is the author, the book of the Unnamed Midwife. I definitely recommend it if you want to read kind of a post-apocalyptic story in an adult perspective, because we do see a lot of these kinds of stories in young adult. We don't really see them in this, genre where someone's a little bit older and, you know, they have to rely on their own. She's not really with anybody. So yeah, that's it for the non-spoilery. I might be making a spoilery one tonight or not, I don't know. Um, so yeah, that's it for me. Go pick this book up. Tell me what you think. Uh, Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I will be having a few more videos up in the next couple days, in the next week. So yeah, stick around, hit that subscribe button if you would like to see more of my face. And that is all. Until next time, adios!